Hi, everyone. My name is Becky Robinson, and I'm here today with my old friend, Phil Gerbyshak. Now, I say he's old. I'm actually older than Phil, but
Whatever.
he's my old friend because we've been friends for a really long time, since 2009. We were talking about that before we started the broadcast. So welcome as you're coming in today. I meant it on Facebook when I said I missed all of you. We did not meet the last 2 days, and I am so glad to be back together with all of you again. It was a little bit different to not have this daily touch point with all of you. So as you're coming in today, I hope you'll take a moment to say hi in the chat, and please use that drop-down menu to select all panelists and attendees so everyone can see that you're here. So give me a shout, and also be sure to tell me, what is it that you are grateful for today? I am grateful to be with my friend Phil again, and I'm also grateful that at this very moment, my husband is going to Kroger to pick up our click list order, and I threw some fun stuff because my jar of peanut M&Ms is nearly empty, and I bought a huge new container, so I'm not going to run out. And I bought my kids some Rice Krispie treats. Who else is with me on the eating the junk food during the quarantine, right?
5 pounds of peanut M&Ms I bought at Costco last time I went. Heck yeah.
I bought the big thing at Costco, and it's nearly empty, and I haven't been able to make it to Costco, so I just bought whatever the biggest peanut M&Ms were that they
There you
had
go.
at Kroger. So welcome, and Kitty is grateful for her husband who drags her out of bed at 5 a.m. for a 90-minute walk. Wow. Angie is grateful for no calorie count during the quarantine. That's fun. So it's so great to see all of you coming in. Guy is here and Greg is here, all our good friends. Erica is here in North Carolina. Erica actually posted on her Facebook her weight loss journey over the last year, and she's saying she's been very disciplined with her diet, so way to go, Erica. Hi, Rob S. in Delaware, who's grateful for Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and I gotta say, my 10th grader loves Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Apparently there was one day, Phil, that I was on a webinar, and I had been eating Cheetos, and someone could actually see the orange on my fingers.
That's awesome.
That's a little bit too personal, maybe. All right,
Not at
so
all.
Phil, I didn't give you a
Yeah.
chance yet. What are you
Oh
grateful for
yeah.
today? Unless
Oh
you typed it and I missed it.
no, I didn't type it. I just said hi. So no. So grateful for three things. One, first, I'm grateful for another day. I mean, really and truly, I'm grateful for that. It's a big deal. I don't take that for granted. Second, I'm grateful for toilet paper today. I got a case of toilet paper. I got 80 rolls of toilet paper. So
What?
yeah, I know. So well, it's the only thing that I could order. I didn't do like I'm not hoarding. It's all that was there. Like I went through Amazon, no lie. I spent 4 weeks looking for stuff. Finally ordered it 4 weeks ago. So like right when this hit, everything dried up in Florida, unfortunately. And so I ordered it and now it's here. So I'm grateful for that. And third, of course, I'm grateful to be here, Becky. It's great to spend some time with you again, my friend. It's been way too long.
It
Way
sure
too long.
it sure has. Well, and today we're going to talk about a really interesting topic. And, frankly, I have had some pain in this area since the pandemic started, and there may be others on the call who have as well. But what we want to do before we dive into our conversation is to do a quick poll. We haven't done that in a while. I also have to tell you, while we're launching the poll, I've told everyone I know that you can't do polls in Zoom meetings, and that's one of the reasons why I experience with sales. So one choice is I consider myself a sales professional, whether my job says it or not. I do some selling as part of my job, though sales isn't really what I do. I do some selling as a part of my job, and I really don't like it. Maybe that one's cut off. I do some selling and wish I knew how to sell, or I hate sales and I wish someone else would do it for me. So we'll give you a few moments to answer that poll. And in the meantime, um, here's something funny. Have you seen the meme, Phil, that says, "Does anyone know how long toilet paper will last if you freeze it?"
Yeah. I think it has a half-life of a Twinkie, to be quite honest, right? So if you put a Twinkie aside, I think it's 12 years that a Twinkie will keep. And so it's probably
Are
6
you
years. You put it in
kidding
the
me?
No,
12
something
years?
like that. And maybe that's a Twinkie from the 80s, like styrofoam, right? They had a Big Mac that laid out in quarantine and they said that it, or in, solidarity or whatever the heck it was, right? And they said it lasted like 6 or 10 years on a Big Mac. So I don't know. That could be old, right? But I don't even know. It just sounds fun.
Well, here's some results for us. It looks
Yeah.
like we're pretty evenly divided between three So I consider myself a sales professional, whether my job says it or not. About a quarter of our respondents said that. Some people do selling, but it's not really what they do. And then some do selling and wish they knew how to sell. So any thoughts on those results, Phil? Were they what you
Well,
expected?
no, they're definitely not what I expected. I mean, a lot of people don't think that they're in sales. So that's, or I was expecting really on the bottom there that people hate sales, right? I hear one of the two, right? That either they don't really get that they're in sales or they really hate sales and they just wish either it would go away or somebody would do it for them.
Yeah, I definitely hear that about marketing, owning a marketing agency. Before we got on, we were talking about the conference that I was at the past 2 days, and I see many of those authors who are attending the marketing workshop don't like marketing. They resist marketing. So I don't know. I mean, sales and marketing to me obviously go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so if you don't like marketing, you probably don't like selling either.
You probably like it less, right? Because marketing, at least you can sort of kind of schedule, but sales is really one-on-one. And that's the hard part, I think, for a lot, right? So Wade says, yeah, marketing, yes, sales, not so much. Understandable, right? That's the case with a lot of people. That's, I think that's part of the reason I'm here today is to help you be scared less and sell more.
Well, sure. So let me share with our attendees, because they don't know you as well as I do, a little bit about you. So Phil knows all about sales. He's a sales speaker, a sales expert, a sales trainer, a sales leader, mentor, a sales podcaster, and a sales coach. You may not know that Phil has written 5 books. More than 3,000 articles. Really? That's amazing. And has been quoted in a whole bunch of really important publications like the Wall Street Journal, the Daily Globe and Mail, the Financial Times, Investors Business Daily, and many others. And currently, Phil has the role of serving 140 plus sales professionals and sales leaders as the Vice President of Sales Training at Vector Solutions. So is there anything else you want folks to know about you before we dive in?
Well, let's share some personal stuff. So, Wade, the glasses give you away. Thanks, buddy. So, so some personal stuff, right? So first, I'm a pinball wizard. I love pinball. Pinball makes me super duper happy. I love to do that. It's just fun. I love the strategy behind it. I was on the What's In podcast the other day just talking about pinball. We went for 40 minutes. I mean, I can talk about pinball all day long. So that's something personal. Second thing that's personal is that, I really am passionate about serving. We're going to talk about sales today, but sales is service. Actually, that's probably going to be the title of my next book, To Sell is to Serve, because that's really what I believe. And that's not just like a platitude. I mean, I really believe that. And that is how I live my life. And the third thing that I'll share with you that is not, in my bio, and that is I'm a reluctant salesperson too. Like I didn't do it on purpose. This is not something that I thought I was ever going to do or ever wanted to do. One of the first sales movies I ever saw was Used Cars with Kurt Russell. If you haven't seen that, it's terrible, but it's classic and it's got all the awful stereotypes about sales. And for a long time, I thought that's what sales was. And it's not.
That's really helpful. And I so resonate with you around that idea of service. One of the speakers at the event that I was just at was David Newman, who I know is a friend of yours from NSA. And I actually put out on my Instagram a quote from him where he said, if you can't serve big if you don't sell big or something like that. I'm getting it all wrong, but check that out on Instagram. It sounds like the two of you are closely aligned on that. Okay, so for those people who might be on the call saying, I'm not in sales, let's talk a little bit about why it's so important to keep selling during hard times. Yeah. What do you exactly mean by that?
Yeah, well, I kind of gave it away there when I say to sell is to serve, right? But I really think people need help now more than they've ever needed it. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of newness in this. I don't know anybody that's trained to work in a pandemic, unless even doctors, nurses, anybody. I was in the military, right? I served in the Navy for 4 years. I was, I was a intelligence person, right? I was crypto before crypto was cool. That was my job. And I can tell you, even though we trained, even though we prepared, we weren't ready for it. I don't think you ever are. And so knowing that, you have to keep going through this stuff. You have to offer something that people can count on. I'm not telling you that I know when this is going to end, right? And by that, I mean, literally Florida's opening up now. We see that like 78% of the country is like, hey, stay locked up. That's fine. Whatever the date is though, whether it's May 1st or May 31st, or whether it's July 1st or whatever the date is, it's a lot of uncertainty. We don't know. Second, we don't know what a rebound looks like. I would argue that we're never going to go back to where we were. We're going to create a new normal. It's going to be a hybrid of these. I really think we're in hybrid times where sometimes some things are still going to be personal. Some people are going to want their space. They're going to give you 6 feet and they're really going to mean 6 miles, right? They're going to be way away from you. And I think the other hybrid that we have to think about is dollars, right? Some people aren't going to have the dollars that we did, and things are going to change. Restaurants, everything is going to change. And we're seeing that people that are confident but not cocky about how they serve are really winning. That's the most wonderful thing, right? It's no longer just the loudest person that's shouting, because advertising dollars, if you're totally tone deaf, you can totally turn people off, not just for now, because right now a lot of people aren't buying, but I'm talking forever. I've talked to people that have talked to others that are so aggressive right now or so desperate right now that they have wrecked relationships forever. So if we flip sales and service and we focus on serving, it's more important than ever right now.
That's really helpful. And I'm curious also about the nuance between confidence and, did you say cockiness?
Yeah. Yes. So let me give you my 3 H's, right? Because I think this will help people. The first thing that we have to realize about anything is that we have to be human first, and we are humans. But we forget that sometimes. And by that, I mean, we worry about marketing automation, or we think about funnels, right? No human being I know wants to hear that they're TOFU, right? Top of funnel, or TOFO, right? Top of funnel opportunity. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear their bottom of funnel, middle of funnel. Oh, I don't know where they're, nobody gives a crap about your stupid marketing funnel, right? We're human beings. We have needs, right? It's both needs like I need to feel safe, and needs like I want to go on vacation, right? And everywhere in between. And we miss that, right? Because we forget about people being human. So that's the first thing. The second piece is we have to be helpful. We have to be helpful, right? Again, cocky versus confident. Confidence says, I know I can help you, Becky, and let's spend some time together. And I know I can do that. And if not, I promise you, I can still add value to your life, even if we don't work together. That's confident. Cocky says, hey, Becky, your business sucks and I need to work with you, and you need to work with me, because if you don't, you're gonna lose, right? If you don't believe what I believe, you're gonna lose. And so that's cocky, right? And I don't think that plays. In fact, I'm hoping that never comes back. I hope those people that are that arrogant to advertise that way never bounce back, or that they have to pivot to a different business, because they make it really hard for all of us who actually want to serve, right? So we got human, we got helpful. The last one is really where the rubber meets the road, and that's humble, or humility, right? C.S. Lewis, I think, said it best when he said that humility is not thinking less of ourselves, but thinking of ourselves less. And I really believe that's true. And that means I'm not talking about how great my product, how great my service is. Hey, I'm number one this. Hey, I crushed this many sales last year. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about thinking of you. What are your needs? What are your problems? What are your challenges? What are the things that I could do to help you? If I come at it from that perspective, I believe to sell is to serve. So with that then makes me more humble. It ultimately makes me more humble, or helpful, because frankly, if I'm solving your needs and I'm focused on solving your needs, even if I'm not the answer, I'm going to be better off. And if I focus on being human, and I remember that right now, you might be freaked out. You might be like, holy crap, what is going on? I've never been through this before, and I need some stability. Or the human factor of, oh my gosh, I've got a service business and I just lost 98% of my business. So now I've got to pivot. I don't know what to do. I'm scared about technology. Marketing scares me. Sales sucks. Oh my gosh, what do I do? It's okay.
I think there are probably plenty of people feeling that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where the confidence comes in. I mean, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't even have a magic 8-ball. But I can tell you that I want to help. And I can tell you that if you come at it that way, if you want to help, if you want to serve, you can. And you don't have to be cocky about it. You just be confident that you know you can.
Yeah. So can we talk a little bit about this idea that you mentioned regarding aggressiveness? So there are a few things that I've observed as it relates to that. And, there are times that someone wants to sell to me and I'm not interested. And so I'm thinking of a specific vendor, who leaves voicemails on the office where I no longer work, calls my cell phone, sends me an email, many, many times over many, many months, right? I think the original connection came from LinkedIn. So now I'm so wary of accepting, LinkedIn connections from vendors. But then I get this email during the COVID-19 crisis that says, I have a gift for you. I'm going to donate $20 in your name to whatever charity you choose. And tell me, let's talk about that approach, because, on the one hand, it looks helpful and it looks like it's adding value, but like when I know the person behind it has been relentless and I'm not interested, like, what do you do with that? And is there anything we can learn, and what could we do differently?
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot to unpack. I'll do my best here, because I've seen that too, right? So first, our brand speaks before we do. Who we are speaks before we do. What other people say about us really is even more important. Again, that's the humble piece. Having that humility and letting other people talk for you. Not that we don't market ourselves. Let me be really clear. It's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying you have a testimonial from a customer that's going to speak for itself. Every time you send an email, that speaks for you. Every time you leave a voicemail, that speaks for you. So to me, that brings us back to what Harvey Mackay, his book, right? Dig your well before you're thirsty, right? Build your network before you need it. Being a good person before you have to be a good person. Like right now, it is too late to suddenly, I'm going to help you. No, because your email is not welcome in my inbox. If that's the case, right? It wasn't welcome before, and it's sure not helpful now. Now, that being said, right, we know some people are really in a bad way, and they might have to raise their hand and accept the help. And I want to tell you folks, it's okay. You can absolutely accept help from anywhere you want. Just don't let people coerce you and force you into doing business with them. If they weren't a good person before, this sudden new thing, they know, because they read things that I've written, probably things that you've read too, Becky, that says, lead with empathy. Well, if you weren't leading with much empathy before, much humanity before, and now suddenly you do, now it's a sales tactic. And I don't believe you. But if you were afraid before, and you weren't as confident before, and now you come at me with some humility, if you weren't claiming that you were the greatest thing since sliced bread, but just confidently come at me now and say, you know what, Phil, I've read a couple of your articles and I think that I could help you. And here's how I think I can. And I'm curious if you'd be open to a 15 or 20-minute phone call of how I can do that more, because I observed you, because I've seen you. Just humble. Now I've got an opportunity. I can tell you, even though I'm the VP of sales training, I get a lot of people that end at sales, so they think I'm the VP of sales, which means they try to sell me on things that can make my sales team better. Not that I'm not interested in that. I absolutely am. But often I'm not the decision maker. So they come at me with this. And then when I tell them, right now is not the time that I teach my team a new trick. We're going to get back to our fundamentals. And you say, you know what? You actually said this, that, or the other thing. And I can help with that, right? Like I talk about being more human. If you can help my team be more human, I'm going to talk to you. If you can help my team be more helpful, I'm going to talk to you, not through more automation, not through buying your crappy list, but by actually being more human. I'm in. I want to talk to you. I'm going to give you a shot. I don't know that I can make a decision today, but I can commit to you that I'm at least going to listen. And I've got a little bit of time, a little bit of window where we can spend some time and understand that when things get better, that perhaps I can. So it may not result in a sale today. That's the thing. And that's where I think some people miss, right? We have the opportunity now to be helpful and to build a relationship, because people might not be buying today. But I tell you, you always should have been building relationships. You should have never been a cocky person, because we get humbled every day, folks. The rug can be swept out and suddenly what's old is old and it goes out with the trash. So there's no reason to ever be cocky. But some people, that's how they sell. And if that's how they sell, then they're probably going to sell to people just like them. And the good news is that's getting less and less because people are afraid.
So I heard someone yesterday talking about marketing and sales in a way as being a means of discovering the people who are right for you and what you have to offer. And she referenced it as like polyamorous dating, of like, who are all the people in the world who I can love and who can love me back, and sales and marketing just being a means of finding those people who are going to love what you have to offer and whom you can love in return. So I thought
Yeah, I
that was
can see that.
a fun analogy.
I think that's pretty apt analogy, right? Because it's not just one person for one business. If that
Right.
was, we'd probably already be in business together.
Right. Yeah. So I'm curious about what questions all of you have for Phil. But Phil, one of the things I'm curious about, going off script, is, what do you do when there's radio silence on the other side of sales emails at a time like this? How many times do you keep following up? I have some people I've been potentially pursuing work with before the coronavirus who have completely disappeared, gone radio silent. So for salespeople who might be struggling with what do I do? How do I even show up and be human and helpful and humble if I can't even get a response on the other end of the phone or the end of the email?
Yeah. So that's a really important question. The first thing I would consider is to change the channel. So if email isn't working, pick up the phone. If phone isn't working, send them a video. If video isn't working, send them a text, right? Change the channel. That's the first thing I would suggest. From that, sometimes you have to have a preemptive strike, right? You have to say, hey, you know what? I'm guessing that you're like a lot of our clients, that you're locked down and you're not making big investments right now. But I'm wondering if we can get back on the call so we can realign our priorities. I'm not going to sell you anything. I just want to realign priorities because I get it. Right now might not be the time to make a decision. And then we also have a third opportunity, and that is to go really old school and use the old feel, felt, found without saying feel, felt, found. And how do we do that is we use a case study. You know what? One of my people that I did business with, right? One of my authors, they were concerned as well. They invested some money and they realized that they could be making 3%, 12%, 60% more if they just invested some. So maybe you're not ready to make a $10,000 investment, but maybe you are ready to make a $2,000 investment. So let's have a conversation. Let's just see, because I get that you're afraid right now. And let's talk. Now, again, but you have to be willing to change the channel on that. I think we're getting, so many people are taking the easy way out, Becky, to your point, and they're sending an email. And I've got way too many emails. Way too many emails. Like if I look in my inbox, First, I have priority folders set up. Second, I have it set up so that same box, a lot of stuff goes in a separate folder. I mean, I only see maybe 6% of my messages, maybe 6%. So I'm not ignoring you. I mean, even your first message, Becky, because you used the same email address for your newsletter, I didn't get it the first time. I promise you I wasn't ignoring you. I just didn't see it. And I think our customers are the same way, right? They may not be really ignoring us. Now, some of them absolutely are. But we change the channel, we call the elephant out in the room, we try to preemptively strike that, and then we use a feel, felt, found method, and now we've got opportunity for us. And I think that's really the key here, is that we have to try different ways. I was training my team yesterday. One of my teams has less than 6% response rate on the emails they send, but a 52% open rate. Well, that means that we have to focus not on the subject line. That's doing well, right? 1 out of 2 people open, that's great. But instead, focus on, are we making an ask? Is it strong enough? Is it clear enough? Are we sending too long of an email? Right? Sometimes we think we're sharing information, but I want to remind everyone, the goal of an email is not to send information. The goal of an email is to get a response. Well, did we ask? What did we ask for? What's our ask there? Did we ask for too much? Do we ask for too many, right? Did I ask 7 questions in my email? If I want a response and they've ghosted me, I need to make a simple ask. Maybe it's, hey, Becky, this is the last time I'm going to email you. I hate salespeople that are relentless, that never give up. So I'm going to stop being that salesperson. Are you still interested? If you are, just send me yes and say not right now. And if you're not, say no. If you ignore me, you won't hear from me again either. What happens is, even though I might not respond to that email right now, I might keep that in my inbox. I'm seldom going to delete that. So maybe at a later date, I'm going to then respond and say, hey, Becky, you know what? The timing really sucked 3 months ago, but now is the right time on that. So those are probably 5 or 6 tactics that you can try, but you got to try each one of them. Find out one way that works, right? Come up with something and then use it until it doesn't work, and then shift and pivot and do something else.
That's really helpful, Phil. We do have a couple of questions that
Yeah,
have come in. Greg wants to know if you have any thoughts on the concept of the development, marketing, and/or sales of productized services.
sure.
And Greg, if you want to clarify, or Phil, if you need some clarification, feel
No,
free to
I got
ask.
that, right? So product. So here's the thing, right? First, you need to understand what problem does it solve, not just these are people that are my audience, right? And I think this is where a lot of times we miss. We assume that everybody needs leadership, so we write a leadership book. We assume everyone needs sales, so we write a sales book. And I get that, right? And to a certain extent, that's true. But right now, you might be focused on solving this problem, which is Becky just asked it, how do I get people who've ghosted me to respond? That's got to be what we lead with. And I got to call that out because that is your biggest problem. Much like, we have to be one-on-one. So I read something a couple days ago that said, when we're talking to one person, we have to act like that we're talking to a million people, right? It's a bigger audience. And if we're talking to a million people, we have to talk like it's one person. So that means we have to think a little bit bigger, but we have to figure out what that problem is for them. As we create that problem, as we understand what that problem is, we're going to understand then how do we market that, because we know how to sell that, right? Sales and marketing have to be aligned there. So if I say in my marketing copy that says, I'm going to show you 6 new tactics that you can use today to get through to somebody who's ghosted you, then when on the sales page, right after we get the marketing, we click show me more, add to cart, I reconfirm that. Or if I'm having a phone call, right? Because some of our bigger ticket items require a phone call. Not everything can be closed on the internet, gang. Okay, so if I have to have that phone call, I reconfirm that. Reconfirm pain, reconfirm solution. And then as I productize that, I have those modules and I might blow them up. So pain first, for who second, product third. So I people, right? Or pain, people, product in that order. If we can focus there, we can win. But if we don't have pain, especially now, if nothing really hurts, there is no reason to press forward because you're just making it then for yourself.
So Greg, I hope that's helpful to you. It's certainly helpful to me. Really 10 out of 10 for you, Phil. Bill wants you to restate the old school channel of feel, felt, found. And I have to tell you, I never heard that before either. So could you explain really quickly, we're almost out of time, that feel,
Yeah.
felt, found?
Yep. So, hey, you know what? I've had many customers who feel that way. When they felt this way, I helped them. And what they found is feel, felt, found, right? That's really, really quick on feel, felt, found. But that is so old school. When you say those words, though, even if you've never heard of that before, for whatever reason, the hair still stands up on the back of your neck like you feel being manipulated. So don't use those words. Instead, use a case study that shows, people had a problem. Then they discovered something new. And then when they found the solution that we gave them, they realized that there was an answer. They saw these benefits.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much, Phil. And I'm seeing that we only have about 1 minute left.
Yeah.
So I would love to know, what did you hear today that was helpful to you? What I heard that was helpful to me is change the channel. And this concept that I think must be a blog post or a video or something else, Phil, that you can create that people might need now as salespeople. Here are 6 ways to change the conversation if you're getting ghosted by a prospect, right? That is a blog post or video that I want to read or watch.
Sure.
So Erica liked human, helpful, and humble, the 3 H's. So thanks for sharing that, Erica. If anyone else wants to share, I'll let you know a few things. So one way that you can stay connected to Phil and learn more from him is to connect with him on LinkedIn. So Kelly's going to put the LinkedIn link for Phil in the chat. And I would love, if we're not already connected on LinkedIn, would you please connect with me as well? And she's going to put my link there too. Please remind me how we know each other. I think by now I probably would recognize your name from the chat if you've been a part of these, but please connect with me. Flip sales and service was helpful to Jeff. Change the channel, Jay liked. And he also likes the idea that you can't suddenly become this great empathetic person and ignore who you were in the past. Janae liked the 3 H's as well. We maybe need a Phil 2.0 session. Angie says we need more Phil. So really quickly, tomorrow our guest is Lisa Cohn. And Lisa is going to be talking with my colleague, Christy Kirk, because I have a standing client meeting on Fridays. And when I show up here on Fridays, it's because I'm skipping out on my client meeting. So Christy's going to be talking with Lisa, and I am so jealous because Lisa is one of the most empathetic and caring people. And I'm not for sure what they're going to talk about, but I love something that Lisa does, which is really talk about how to show compassion to ourselves. And that will be a great setup for the weekend, I think. So I encourage you to show up tomorrow for Christy and Lisa. I'm beyond sad that I won't be here with you. Next week is our last full week of the Daily Connection. And then in May, we're skipping to the Weekly Connection. So I'm not sure how I feel about that because I love and care about all of you. But we'll get through it together. Phil, any parting encouragement for this group? And sorry, I went over.
No, that's good. So, but my parting encouragement is this, right? Serving and helping are often the same thing. We actually had that question, right? But the key is that you have to find a problem to solve. Otherwise, you're just being helpful. That's not going to get you paid. You have to find a problem to solve. You don't just be helpful. So with that, lead with the problem. Think about the pain that your customer's in. Solve that. Focus on those people, and then productize, whether that's a service, a physical product, or something, or a digital product. It doesn't matter, right? When you start there with that, the pain, the problems, right? What are you trying to solve? You're going to be a lot more effective, and you're going to make a lot more money. So that's what I would close with. And if you have questions, let me know. Okay. So thank you, Becky, for having me on. It's been a pleasure, and thank you everyone for being here today.